Hey everybody, I got the Neuhaus Hummingbird here in the stand. I'm going to be changing a few things up on this bike, and I've got a review video for this in the works. I'm pretty excited about that one, to be honest. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to transfer over the existing Crown Race onto a new fork without any special tools. Alright, so what we have here is what's called an interference fit, which means that the inner diameter of the Crown Race is just slightly smaller than the outer diameter of the fork steer tube. And so when you install it, you essentially have to pound it down so that it sort of stretches around that lower part of the steer tube. All that to say, there's no way you're just going to be able to pull this up with your bare hands. In some instances, you have a Crown Race that's actually split on one side. And those Crown Races you can easily just pry off with your bare hands. This video is not for a split style Crown Race, it's for the traditional interference fit. Now you can go to Park Tool and buy their Crown Race remover tool, which is $250. But in this video, I'm going to show you a method for removing the Crown Race that probably doesn't require you to make a trip out to the store. So this is a pack of razor blades. Just standard razor blades for a utility knife. And the way these work is that you use them as a progressively thicker wedge that will eventually allow us to pop the Crown Race off. So I know it seems weird, but this is how I've been doing it for years. It works really well. Take one of the razor blades, kind of wedge it right under the Crown Race, and give it a little tap until it hits the steer tube itself. Then flip it over. Do the same thing on the opposing side. Get one in there. Then flip it back over. And then pound another razor blade in there until I feel it hit the steer. And flip it over. Try and wedge another one in here. Put a third utility blade between the original two. Flip it over, get a third blade on this side. And I can already feel it starting to wiggle, so you can see that it's already separating, but no, it's still on there really tight. So let's get those original 3 back in there, and 4, maybe 5. That's why it's good to have a whole pack of these. So right now I've got 6 on this side, and now I feel tension. I'll pound those in on that side. Probably going to need 5 or 6 for this side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 5th one. Maybe number 6. Yeah, 6. There's some tension there. Try and wedge a 7th one in there. And why not just go with an 8th? Flip it over. At some point, you might have to transfer the whole stack of razor blades from one side to another if you don't have enough. Ow. Alright, I think that did it. Let's put these away somewhere safe. We basically wedged the Crown Race up high enough so that it'll slide off now. But one of the things you want to avoid is just getting a flat blade and just prying from one side, like a really small surface area. The razor blades are nice because it distributes that force over a larger area. You don't want to bend this or dent it in any way because then the bearing won't sit on it flush and you'll have issues with your headset. So that's why the razor blade method works pretty well. Whew, that looks nice. Probably the nicest fork that I've ever owned. Fox Factory 34 step cast. It's really light. All right, now fortunately reinstalling the Crown Race is much easier than removing it. First thing I always do is to put a light layer of grease where the surfaces of contact are. And then you can go ahead and slide the Crown Race down onto the fork. But of course, because it's an interference fit, it's not going to go all the way down. Now you could go out and buy a $100 Park Crown Race setter, or you can go to Home Depot and get a piece of appropriately sized PVC that will do the same job for $2 or $3. Now in my case, I have Crown Race setters for your standard 1 1/8 steer, as well as a 1 1/2 inch tapered steer. And really all you're looking for when you go to the hardware stores, bring your race into the store and just kind of see how the race mates up. Ideally, you'd have a piece of tubing that pushes mostly on the inner diameter of the race, just to avoid the possibility of bending the flanges of the Crown Race downward, which is something you don't want to happen. So anyways, slide that down, put the Crown Race setter on top, make sure it's kind of squared off like that. And then I prefer just to use like a plastic mallet like this. I like the plastic mallet because it's not as harsh as a full-on metal hammer, but it also gives you enough feedback so that you can feel when the Crown Race really sets onto the top of the fork crown. Okay, and all we're doing is setting the fork on the floor, probably put some kind of pad underneath so you're not just on, concrete. And then we're just giving the PVC light taps at first, kind of around the perimeter just to make sure that it's going down straight. And at some point you'll feel it kind of suddenly meet a lot of resistance. That's how you know that the crown race is fully set. So it shouldn't take a lot of force to slide that on, but remember it is an interference fit, so you're not just going to be able to push it down with your bare hands. This is what it should look like when it's installed. Right? If you look directly at the profile, you should see no gaps underneath the crown race, and it should be sitting flush against the top of the fork crown itself. So this is set and we're ready to go. Okay, well there you have it. That's how you transfer over an interference fit type of crown race from one fork to another using no special tools. Now if you want to know the entire process for transferring a new fork onto an existing frame, you can check out the video down below in the description for complete how-to. In that video, in addition to installing the new crown race, we'll be chopping down the steer tube to the proper length, installing a new star nut, as well as adjusting the headset to the proper tension. So again, that video is down in the description. You can check that out if you're interested. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.